Welcome to Your Thoughts, Your Reality with Michael Cole, the podcast that shines a compassionate light on the journey of veterans battling through life's challenges. Michael is a dual elite certified neuroencoding specialist in coaching and keynote training presentations, dedicated to guiding military veterans as they navigate the intricate pathways of post-deployment life. Join him as we delve into the profound realm of neuroencoding science, empowering these brave individuals to conquer universal battles, procrastination, self-doubt, fear, and more. Together, let's uncover the strength within you to re-engage with families and society, forging a new path forward.
Hello, everybody. So we have a very special guest today, Nikkia Blair. Actually was introduced from our friend Carolyn Azuna, which we're in the same circles with her. So super happy to have you on. A little bit about Nikkia. She's a certified professional life coach. Nikkia has a proven track record. Track record of guiding individuals through personal and professional growth. She's a Reiki level 2 practitioner, 200-hour registered yoga teacher, passionate advocate for veterans and their families, of course, and holistic wellness expert. So, Nikkia, we got to talk a little bit, before we went on. So tell us, our guests, a little bit more about yourself, if you will.
Absolutely. So I have to first say thank you so much. I'm deeply, truly honored to be here and part of this podcast, focusing on creating communities for our veterans to help them thrive. As a proud family member of former Navy and Army service members, I hold truly immense gratitude for the sacrifices for each veteran has made to our service for our freedom. So it's a truly a privilege and honor to be on this collaborating with you, doing this meaningful work. So thank you so much, Michael.
Well, thank you. Truly appreciate it. So, a little bit more about yourself, if you will, just as far as the certified life coaching, the Reiki, a lot of people aren't familiar with that. I'm super interested. I know my amazing wife has done it. But, tell us just a little bit more about some of those things that you do, if you will.
Absolutely. So I've devoted a lot of my career to helping families, children, and working in the public school district for over 20 years. And then I moved into looking into doing some work with, like you mentioned, Carolyn, and I became certified as a life coach many years ago and explored a little bit more the holistic realm, such as Reiki and yoga, and being able to really integrate the wellness, energy healing into promoting personal growth. So my background a little bit, I'll share with you. When I was very young, about 2.5, 3 years old, I was very, very active. And my mom had the idea of putting me in dance class. And so I remember going to the dance studio, Catherine Barnett School of Dance in Red Bank. And Catherine has been my mentor and for several years. She's just a beautiful, wonderful human being. Absolutely love her. So dance has really been a healing modality for me before I even knew about the healing pieces that was taking place within me. It gave me that opportunity to really express myself, to let out like what I was feeling, and just growing up in the dance studio and being able to form community through dance had been really beneficial. So teaching dance, actually, I ended up teaching dance, and I studied dance in college and dance in a modern dance company for a couple of years, and ended up following through with psychology. So I fell in love with psychology because my concentration was movement therapy. And that's when I had the opportunity to take psychology classes. And I absolutely fell in love with psychology, and it ended up getting my bachelor's in psychology. And then I continued to move forward with my master's in social work and working in the school for many years. And then, continuing to follow my path of taking care of myself and personal development is how I came into coaching and Reiki and yoga.
Awesome. So, it's a fantastic journey you've had, first of all, because, man, how many people don't realize how good dance is for you, right? I mean, just moving your body, smiling, laughing, all those great hormones being released into your body, the exercise alone just changes your whole mental state. So for you to start off there and then get into psychology and so on, that's pretty cool. I like that a lot.
Absolutely. And I was probably about 8 years old the first time I began to meditate. Catherine would have us lie on the floor in the dance studio. And I remember her walking us through this beautiful scenery, and she had music on and it was quiet. And I just remember laying there. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And gosh, I was meditating, right? Like it was so cool. And I really enjoyed that. So it's not really beautiful to see going full circle and those seeds that she was planting and how that flourished, and me being able to help other people has been truly instrumental. So I'm thankful that my mother put me in dance class and that I'm able to give back to those that are looking to, find wellness within their lives as well.
Fantastic. And we're grateful Mom did it too.
Yes.
Because you wouldn't be the person you are, if that wouldn't have happened, which is really cool. So before we really dive in, I just want to remind everybody on the top, see if I do it right, I pointed the right way, top right-hand corner of the screen is your QR code. It's blue QR code, takes you to empowerperformancestrategies.com. For people that are listening on the podcast forums later on, again, empowerperformancestrategies.com. There are all kinds of, there's 2 ebooks that I've written free, grab those. There are Facebook groups for both veterans and their families. Come and join, be part of our community to uplift each other and help support each other. So please join that and check that out. All right. So with that said, shall we dive in?
Yes, let's do it.
Right. So can you share a moment of your story from your journey that sparked your passion for holistic wellness and transformation specifically? Was there a moment it was like you were dealing with something, or that just you created leverage over yourself, or what was it that said, this is it, this is the passion, this one I'm going to follow the rest of my life or be involved in to help people?
As a social worker, we are constantly helping people, and I had to take a real hard look at my life when I realized I was reaching a point of burnout where I was feeling overwhelmed, definitely not putting myself first. And I really took my husband's advice and guidance on seeking a coach. It was a different approach. I was a little hesitant. And then I decided to say, you know what, let me try. What do I have to lose? And that was a big pivotal point in my life where I was able to see my value, my worth, and to really honor myself by putting myself first. And also being able to realize by doing that, so many things shift. When I am in such a better place, and when I put myself first, when I take time to work out, to get up, to meditate, to read, all of these different things, it really makes such a big difference in myself, how I come and present myself to the world, how I present myself to my home. In my house, my whole household shifted without me even saying anything, without me even doing anything. It's like the tone and the energy in the house was so different. And so that was such a pivotal point for myself that it's like, how can you keep that secret to anyone else? You want to be able to really help everyone and teach them if they're willing to learn and grow, and just know that, it's not selfish. I grew up in a household where, my parents did a lot for us, and my mom, I would see all the things that she would do, and then she would do her things last. Right. And it's completely cultural. Sometimes it's just a different mindset. And I'm so grateful to be able to share the shifts that I have learned with other women, with other men, with other families, so that way they can continue to pass down the greatness, to be able to see shifts within their own household.
Yeah, that is absolutely fantastic. And there's some great things, that you said in there that really, really touched me, because you're creating, and I had a guest on recently, we talked about this, you're creating that generational change. Same with me, right? I grew up with, without meeting my dad. He's a veteran, had issues, when he came out, great guy, but had issues when he came out from all of that, joined the military because that's who he knew he was, went back for his 3rd tour of Vietnam. And so, those generational things that we change by doing the work and leaning into those issues, it's absolutely fantastic. So I really love that you said that.
Thank
Um,
you.
yeah. No, and then just that you found that passion, that fulfillment, based on other work that you've seen and the help and the struggles other people went through, and you found your light by helping, again, feeling that passion or fulfillment. I absolutely love that.
Thank you. And, the other piece that I'd like to share about that is we all go through different things in our life, right? Whether, you mentioned how you growing up with your father, and everybody has a different story. Everyone has their own suitcase that they have filled with their own stuff. So being able to really learn how to release
Mm.
those things that are in your suitcase that are not serving you has been extremely important piece of the work that I have been doing and continue to do, and to help others do. When we hold on to those traumas, when we hold on to those things that are not serving us, how that manifests in your body. So I love being able to utilize Reiki as a way to one, help cleanse, and to help align the chakras, to help align different things, to help people to release, and to work with clients and really helping them to learn how to release those blocks, so that way they can see when things come up, acknowledge it, and be able to move on from it,
Love
not
it.
to stay stuck.
Yeah. Amen. Cannot agree with that more. Let's talk about the Reiki for a couple of minutes if we can, because again,
Absolutely.
I'm legitimately curious about it. I know a little bit, but not nearly enough. And it's any energy work like that is very interesting, because a lot of people are like, oh, that's woo woo and unicorns and rainbows. It's not. It's science. There's a science to it. It's with your cells and your body. And let's talk about that if we can. So what is some of the if someone were to go to you to have a session with Reiki, what are some of the things they would expect or look for, if you will?
Sure. I'll give a little bit of a background on Reiki, and I also want to give a little bit of a background on sound bath, just a tiny bit.
Oh,
So
please.
Reiki is a form of energy healing that originated in Japan. It involves channeling energy, promoting balance so you're promoting the balance, and also healing on a physical and emotional and spiritual level, right? It's often used to reduce stress, promote relaxation, and support overall wellness by helping restore your natural energy flow. Okay. Um, Sound bath, which I also incorporate, and that's why I want to share a little bit about that as well,
Please.
is a meditative experience. I absolutely love sound bath. It's so relaxing. Have you ever had any experience or gone to? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. We have singing bowls in our
Mhm.
is that the proper term? Singing
Yes.
bowls? Yeah. In our home we have, I don't know, 15 different ones. But I've also done it again with someone that came to our house, and they worked with us with that as well. It's
Oh,
fantastic.
it is such a beautiful experience. The vibrations that are created by the instruments, the crystal singing bowls, as you mentioned, the gongs are really great as well, and
Mhm.
chimes. The sound frequencies that they really, really do promote relaxation, stress reduction, and it really helps also to balance your body, your mind. And it's just beautiful. It's a great experience anywhere with those.
Can I ask you a little bit about the science behind it, as far as the vibration, the sound? How does that work with our nervous system, and how does that kind of connect, if you will?
Sure. So the connection with the sound bowls, it's the different frequencies, right? So each bowl focuses on a different chakra. And so those bowls and combinations. So I like to play all of my bowls, but sometimes maybe if I'm traveling or if I only want to bring one or two out, right, then maybe I'll just focus on that particular chakra, especially if it is like when I meet with a client, and I like to talk to my client first, right? To kind of learn a little bit about where they're at, what they're experiencing, what they're going through. And so that really gives me a little bit of background on how I'm going to work with them and what I want to incorporate in their session. So typically when I work with a client in Reiki or conducting Reiki with them, I will have a session with them at first, a coaching session. And then I blend in the Reiki session where I start with them in a quiet, private space, right? Typically I have candles. It's very, very relaxing. And we start. And the session is usually about 1 hour in length. And depending on what we discussed prior to is where I'll go with the bowls or chimes or gong and integrate that in. Now, if they're focusing on maybe something that is around the heart chakra, right? So then my bowl that I'm going to utilize may be more heavily focused on that. And the frequency is what is really going to hit right where they are, and they will feel and be able to release. And then as I'm doing the Reiki with them, I may say, because Reiki is all about the energy that they are releasing, and where has absolutely nothing to do with the practitioner. And when I'm working with the client, I just focus on them. So I'm like they're channeling through, their energy. And if I feel that I need to stay in one area longer, maybe it is the heart, maybe it is somewhere else, I'm also able to utilize that and go back to the bowls to help them to release a little bit too more there.
Wow.
And incorporating some of, let's say, going back to Carolyn, right? Being able to pull some of that energy out and then really trying to utilize some of that work there too, to be able to help them to pull out what you're feeling, because as I can feel them and, the energy there. And so that's how I'll know to stay. And if something needs to be, if they need a little help getting some of it out, I may be able to help them relieve that as well.
Fantastic. So what would you say for veterans, and their families? I mean, there's a lot, they deal with, just like, most people. Of course, with veterans, it's the reintegration into civilian life. As far as getting out of the military, there's always there's a pattern that I see. The stories are different, but the patterns, over my studies are very similar. They get out, there's a honeymoon period, everybody's excited and, rekindled, and everybody's together again in a family. And then life starts happening, as Les Brown says, I use it all the time, life be lifing, because it is, and it's the way you deal with it, obviously. So what are maybe some things that in your practice that you've seen or could help a veteran with either, the singing bowls or crystal bowls, or Reiki, that might help kind of release some of that tension, some, of the things they kind of deal with when they're coming back and reintegrating?
Absolutely. So first and foremost, I would want to reassure them. I'd always like to start off by letting people know those benefits, right? Like, what are the benefits of offering wellness services? I'd like to talk to people and see, kind of like gauge where they're at, and encourage them by always starting with an open mind. Building community is also key too. I find building community, which is why I offer the soul circles and being able to be with people that are like-minded. So people realizing that they know that they're not alone, right? And to be able to talk about things that are coming up, talk about things that they have experienced. So that way, typically, like, you start a group, you may have an agenda of what you may want to talk about. A good group really runs itself, right? Because it's the members that are in the group that are really bringing the content, and you are there kind of helping to facilitate. So I think that with community building is really, really important. Some easy things that I feel would be extremely beneficial are starting off with meditations are super helpful, shifting, and you don't have to meditate for 20 minutes. Yes, that is beautiful to meditate for 20 minutes. But if you're starting small, a minute, 2 minutes. I posted something on one of my groups today about meditating in the shower. hopefully we're all taking showers at some point, that, being mindful and feeling the water on you, and just taking that in, and just being able to take a moment and just be fully present, instead of having all of these things that are going through our minds every moment of the day. So many thoughts, right? So I would encourage, and I would talk to the veterans about stress relief and emotional balance, being able to really, how meditation, mindfulness activities really helps to decrease that. I would talk to them about how yoga and movement will help to increase their physical activity, right? Mobility, just being able to regain strength, and how it enhances mental clarity.
So,
Being able.
oh, please go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Also, with meditations and yoga and Reiki, it also helps with better sleep quality. It helps with just in general building a sense of community if you're in a group, and also holistic healing.
Yeah, fantastic. And you started talking about yoga, and that's literally where I was going next. We haven't talked about that a lot, so let's talk about that. We got about 8-9 minutes left. So as far as, thank you for those tips and thoughts, though, first of all and foremost, because when you can go back into self, relax, and really just focus with intent on anything, I believe that you're going to come out better on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have better decision making. You're going to have better relationships. You're going to better career, whatever the case may be. I truly believe that when you're in that enabled state of mind and that positive mindset, you're going to be just better, and take the time for yourself. Whether you're a veteran, a family member, first responder, or just a normal everyday civilian, take that time for yourself. Listen to your body, because there's so many times that we are just going and going and going, and what happens? We end up with burnout of one aspect or another in our lives. And when we're giving so much to other people, we've got to give ourselves some too, because we don't show up the same. So talk about some of that, if you will.
Absolutely. That is a passion of mine. Giving so much of yourself, and being in the field of social work, you do give so much of yourself that you sometimes, I remember being in a place where, I lost myself. Like, I didn't know really where I was. And because I was working, I had 2 young children, a wife, and you're running to sports, and you're doing all of these different things that are fantastic. But I definitely wasn't putting myself first. And that burnout really hits hard. So what I had so many of those experiences. And what I learned was, you have to put yourself first, and you have to take that time to really care for yourself, and when you're able to stop and care for yourself, then everything else will flow. Things will get done, and it's okay to say no. That's a big thing. It is okay to say, maybe this, I can't do this today, but perhaps I can look at my schedule next week. Once I started doing that and rearranging things that worked best in my best interest and the best interest of my family, things just seemed to flow a lot better. And I was in much more of a relaxed state. So for a veteran, when I say being able to, and we're talking about self-care, right? Which is what I build off of, self-care, and building people up and helping them realize their value and putting themselves first in life. A veteran puts themselves, if you think about it's insane. Like, you're walking into so many different situations for us to have freedom, right? Just take a moment and just think about that. So that it's so selfless. That moment of, I'm ready to give my life for my country. So it is so important that everyone, and we're specifically veterans that we're discussing today, to really put that into a mind frame of the value of their life, and to be able to see all that they have given, and to be able to take care of themselves. They deserve to be so spoiled and taken care of, truly, that it's just remarkable. And it's just so honoring to when you think about it, they have to, a person has to realize their value, and they have to realize that, yes, I am of importance. I deserve time to rest, rest. Oh my gosh. Instead of go, go, go all the time, take moments of rest. It's okay to sit on the couch, right? And veg out if you need to. It's okay to say no.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like
I think it's super important to have those boundaries, for yourself.
absolutely.
There's a reason why they say put the oxygen mask on yourself before helping others. There's a
Yeah,
reason, because if you're 3 minutes in, you're not going to be helping anybody else either.
that's
So
right.
great points. Great points. I really think veterans, of course, it's about team, right? It's about team condition and early in their careers.
Mhm.
And we need to condition that a little bit sidetracked again to take care of yourself too, because if you don't do some of these practices, if you don't take that time to write down things you're grateful for, if you don't take time to slow down and be present, go outside and ground yourself, do some breathing exercises, very simple things, changes the whole trajectory of where you're going.
Absolutely. And you're so much more self-aware, right? Especially when you mentioned teams, and we talked briefly about community. So imagine if someone in the team, in the community, is triggering you, right? If you are taking the time to be aware and self-aware and to recognize when you're triggered, that person is showing a portion of you that is unhealed. But a person that's not self-aware, and a person that is not taking the time to do the work for themselves, won't realize that. And then that community goes from this to that, right? So being able to, it all plays in of itself so beautifully, and is so, so important to do the work on yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about yoga just for a minute. So you what are some of, in your opinion, the best benefits? Because again, we don't have a lot of time, but the best benefits of learning yoga. And I've got my thoughts, but I want your thoughts. So dive in. What are some of the best things that you're going to get out of yoga and training yoga?
So yoga and practicing yoga is, for me, it is just I wanted to be certified and learned more about yoga as more of a personal goal, where it's just the foundational purposes and principles of yoga were really intriguing. And a lot of what we see with yoga is not what yoga really, really is. When it boils down to it, there's a lot of surfacey things that are put out there, but the practice of yoga is all about you. It's your own practice. You don't have to do a handstand. Yes, you will gain flexibility, all these other beautiful strength and all of these other things. But the main points, and it's going back to the mental clarity, the stress reduction, helping you sleep better. It's just so healing. And it's really your own practice. It's your own time. And a good teacher will tell you, this is your practice. Don't worry about who's next to you doing 50,000 other things and breathing however, and it's all about you. That's what I love about yoga, and that's what I want to stress.
I absolutely love that. And I always say, compare others to possibilities. Compare yourself and your own growth is really what you should be looking at, not other people. Look at them for possibilities, not for where you're supposed to be.
Right.
So absolutely love that. So we are at the end of time. So first of all, how do people reach out to you?
Absolutely. Thank you. So I have my website, nikkiablair.com, NIKKIABLAIR.com. That's one way. I'm also on Facebook. You can find me that way as well, and Instagram.
Fantastic. So, Nikkia, I know you have coaching programs, and with Reiki and all the amazing things that you're doing for people. So, anybody interested, reach out, please. Nikkia is a fantastic light in this world, if you will. I'm blessed to know her. So please do reach out. And can we get 3 tips to get veterans and their families further faster?
Absolutely. I would say tip number 1 is be open-minded. Definitely. 2 is start small. Starting small, you don't have to do anything large. Meditating small, going onto YouTube. You can find different things on YouTube for meditations, for yoga. And then 3, I would say community, building community, finding like-minded people and forming yourself and associating with people that are like-minded and heading in the same direction as you.
Fantastic tips. Find your tribe, man. Find your tribe. Absolutely love it. Nikkia, thank you so much for being on today. Time is the most precious resource we have as human beings. We do not get it back. So thank you spending a little time with of your life with us and our audience just to spread some more information and help the cause and the mission. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Michael. I appreciate you. And you're more than welcome. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. And everybody, guess what? We're out of here.
Thank you for joining us on another insightful journey of Your Thoughts, Your Reality podcast with your host, Michael Cole. We hope the conversation sparked some thoughts that resonate with you. To dive deeper into empowering your thoughts and enhancing your reality, visit empowerperformancestrategies.com. Remember, your thoughts shape your reality, so make them count. Until next time, stay inspired and keep creating the reality you desire. Catch you on the next episode.